working on wash rack today. I thought I might do his body work up here, and he started doing this, so I thought we'd work on this. So you can see he's making this face. So all I'm doing is processing his avoidant behavior with him. So the goal is, the eventual goal is to get him up here on the cement, right? And he knows that that's what I want him to do, but that's not the goal that he is setting for himself right now. He is communicating that it's not just stepping on the cement that gives me anxiety, even looking at the cement gives me anxiety. So what we're going to do in phases here today is we're going to help him find relief from his anxiety by looking at the cement. He may not even get up here today, right? He may not even accomplish our goal, but what we want to help him do is process his anxiety. So the way I'm doing that is, if he exhibits an avoidant behavior, such as walking away, backing up, when he starts doing that thing, that's him letting his anxiety tell him what to do. That's him letting the trauma of whatever happened in wash racks in the past decide how he feels right now. Well, obviously nothing dangerous is happening to him right now. So there he kind of interacted on his own. I didn't even have to ask him. So as long as he is somewhat focused over here, as long as he's choosing to be present, I'm going to basically leave him alone. But when he does an avoidant behavior, I'm going to add a little bit of pressure on his pole. And we know that he holds a lot of his past trauma in his pole. So while he interacts with his negative emotions, we're just going to add a slight pressure. And when he gives into the positive emotions, we're going to remove the pressure. What we don't want is, which he was doing earlier, is he was hooked on the anxiety, and he was stepping forward, he was putting his head down, he was sniffing things, but he was still going the whole time. And so we're not looking for his body to do anything, we're trying to get to his mind. We're trying to get his mind in the right spot. So there he looks kind of happy, so I'm going to add very gentle pressure, just a suggestion to come this way. Immediately avoids, right? Immediately looks away, and there he steps forward, and we give him a release. And he even offered a little more, started looking at it. Because for him, the obstacle right now is not getting on the cement. The obstacle, like I said, is looking at the cement. So while doing this, I kind of opened up sacred space and tapped in a craniosacral sense, and kind of started the craniosacral session. And what he showed me is that when his anxiety spikes, right, which they go from the frontal brain to the hindbrain, the sympathetic nervous system, there's like, he kind of showed it to me in his aura. Oh, got a hitch. His aura in front of him, it turns into this like web of what kind of looks like veins. And here, even just talking about it, he's like, oh. And it's like these veins that come and cover the front, and they start like pulsating, and it blurs his vision. So he can't even really see what's going on when that feeling takes over, when that anxiety comes in. It is kind of like a dark kind of hiding of his vision and his mind. There you go. So what I want to do is kind of tap into that thing he's showing me in his aura, where it gets dark and like veiny and pulsy and really blocks his vision. And I want him to step forward and turn that on, and then in that space help him realize that even though I'm closer to the thing that's making me anxious, I can decide that goes away. And it may take a long time, and I'm going to help him with some cranio and bringing in some light, bringing in some good energy. But ultimately, he's going to decide if it goes away or not. Here I stop him with his anxiety, and when he steps forward, I give him a release. Now I can tell his avoidance is kind of going up, so his anxiety is spiking a little bit. So we're going to lean into it a little bit, but we're going to keep to our rules. So if he offers one step forward, he gets a release. It doesn't matter if it's a little step, it doesn't matter if it's a big step, or 2 steps, or 5 steps. If he gets one step forward, he gets a release, because the moment that we break the rules, the trust is gone, right? The moment that we go, okay, well, you can do one more, then he goes, whoop, I can't trust you, and I'm immediately back in my traumatized state. Well, the experience I had before, even though like I wouldn't be doing anything abusive, in his nervous system, I'm right back where I was, because the trust is gone. So my rule has to stay the same. No matter what his behavior is, it has to stay the same. So if I add a little pressure when he's feeling calm and say, hey, come check this out, and he gets a step forward, that was pretty willing, right? It'd be really easy to get greedy and ask him, oh, you could do 2, but he'll immediately backslide, because he'll go, now that's not the rule, baby. That's not the rule. Now this is new today, him chewing on the lead rope. And anytime a horse engages their mouth is a sign that they're becoming a little more present. So he's interacting with his surroundings. He's not just gritting his teeth and grinding his teeth. He's interacting with something around him. So there's the avoidance, the anxiety. So I'm going to add the pressure, light pressure. And when the pressure's on, he can do whatever he wants. He can back up, he can grind his teeth, he can flick his head, he can try to walk away, but the pressure is not going to change. It's not going to increase, it's not going to decrease. It's going to stay right where it is. And then as soon as he gives in to good feelings, it goes away. And it's a little bit of pressure. Like I basically just kind of add a tug to the back of his pole and keep my hand closed. There's the avoidance again. And he kind of resolved it a little. So we're going to ask him, let's lean into it a little bit. And you can decide how this goes. You can stay back there all braced up and anxious, or you can step forward into a release, to comfort, to safety. And it just so happens that the safe place is closer to the thing that you are scared of. So, and this takes time, right? Because we're rewiring his nervous system to react to stimuli differently. And that right there is very little, right? So he takes a step back, add a little pressure. He feels the anxiety. He feels the resistance. He wants to avoid. He looks away. He's listening for something else to give him an excuse to get out of it. And we're just going to sit here. We're not going to ask for more. We're not going to ask for less. We're just going to stay right here. And as soon as and we're not even going to call it the right thing, because nothing that he's doing is wrong, right? None of this is naughty behavior. This is just self-preservation. This is just him wanting to stay safe. But what we're trying to do is teach him, hey, there's 2 safe spaces here. One safe space is you braced up, backing up, doing all this kind of stuff, which is not super comfortable, but you're right, it is a safe space. There's also this safe space where you're relaxed, where we're comfortable, where we're cozy. So which safe space do you want? Because that safe space, yeah, you're farther away from the cement, but it's not very comfy. But this safe space is nice and comfortable. So which one does Gus want? Which one does Gus want to choose? And it takes time. I mean, it's literally healing the nervous system. So, if we move faster than he's ready, or, again, get greedy about how much we want, or get too stuck on, our timeline, or I got to get out of the barn at this time. Like today, I'm sitting here going, you're paying me to do body work on him. But I also understand that this experience is very tightly tied to the trauma that is in his pole. And so what have we been trying to resolve, basically the whole time I've been working with him, for the last 2 years, is that ear shyness, that pull anxiety. And so if I go, okay, if I come here and say, yes, let's do some body work, let's work on some trauma release, and he goes, well, here's my trauma, we'll just work right here. So there he starts to avoid, he wants to leave, he gets anxiety. We just add a little pressure, and he goes, I want this safe space. So we go, that's fine, you can pick that safe space, but the pressure doesn't go away. And you can stay there as long as you want, but, I mean, the anxiety's still there. And he goes, ooh, how about this safe space? And he immediately goes, hey, that feels a little bit better. And the stimulus from the rope is ultimately what's communicating with his nervous system, right? So there I didn't have to pull very much. The stimulus from the rope is what is going to start shifting the emotions from one way to the other. Because it's just showing him what his emotions are doing to him, right? So if he goes like this, then we show him through the rope, this is what's happening to you. You are being trapped, you're being stuck, you're being forced into something by his emotions, right? Not by a human. And it was true in the past, but it's not true anymore. He's being forced into this position by his emotions. And so by using the rope, we can kind of show him, look, if you get this stimulus, if we put pressure on your pole and trigger those nerves and trigger that trauma, you can choose how you react to that stimulus. And you can let the emotions and the trauma tell you how to behave, or you can decide for yourself that I want to be in a good place. So there he kind of avoids, he backs up, and he goes, no, this is hard. It is hard. The trauma you went through is hard. And it's not fair, and it wasn't a good thing. It made no sense. But you can decide, if it still affects you. Again, he can do whatever he wants, but the pressure is not, I'm not going to increase it, I'm not going to decrease it, I'm just going to leave it there. There's a little give in my arm, so when he pulls, my arm can go like this, but my hand stays closed, the tightness stays the same. And then as soon as it comes forward, we give a release. Very good. And he immediately goes back, so we're going to immediately put the pressure back on. It's a good side. And again, he can do whatever he wants for as long as he wants. This is a safe space for him. But it's not the ideal safe space. We're creating a new safe space. That blackness that comes in this, we're deciding that it's not there anymore. We're gonna clear it up and open it up so that he can come forward, right? Because what happens is the nerves in his brain get triggered. He goes into fight or flight, like this, the tunnel vision kind of thing. So he can't go forward, right? And it's funny because you'll notice how he's really sore in his neck and shoulders. When he gets really nervous, he'll do this with his back end. His front end stays right there. So he'll do this. And so he can't move forward. He'll move sideways, he'll move backwards, but like his nervous system will not allow him to move into that darkness, into that fear, into that experience. And what we need to do is teach his nervous system that at this point, right, it was true before, but at this point he is creating it himself. So we're going to create something new. Now what does that feel like? It feels good. It feels like a relax. It feels like a release. So he goes backwards and I just keep the pressure. Now if he pulls against me, the pressure's going to increase, right? I'm not increasing the pressure, he is. But I'm still going to hold this spot. See, I move with him a little bit because I don't want to trigger him to the point of loss of control. But I want to stay with him and not let him, go into the bad behaviors that are avoidant, that don't resolve the trauma. I want to ask him to interact with good feelings. Let's try it a different way. Let's find a new safe space. And there I asked for 2 cues really next to each other, because he really has gotten good at the 1 step forward. And again, we don't want to break our rules and ask for 2 or 3 steps forward. So what we'll do instead is we'll ask for multiple different cues, if that makes sense. So I'm going to add pressure, and when he steps forward, I release. And then I'm going to add pressure. This is asking for the 2nd step, but it's not breaking the rules, right? He gets a release every time he moves into the new comfort zone. And we'll just wait. There. Release. And then ask again. So we're making it just a little bit harder for him. We're kind of going from level 1 to level 1.5. Because he's gotten pretty good at level 1, and now level 1 is a new avoidant behavior. So we're just going to ask for level 1.5, which is you get a release every step, but we're just going to ask for the steps closer together. We're not going to give you as much time in between. And just see what he does. It may be the wrong thing. It may totally freak him out. But so far he's doing okay. He's interacting with anxiety, and he has to decide, boy, I'm going to ask for another one. And there, his attention came back. So he's kind of been avoidant in his mind. As I've been kind of talking and explaining, I've been a little distracted, and so he's kind of, again, made that level 1 a new avoidant behavior. He's like, well, I can stand here and take a step forward and take a step back all day long. And now I've changed it up on him, and I'm like, okay, your mind is disengaged, so we're going to re-engage your mind. We're going to ask for another step. And immediately, he comes back, right? There. Good. And he looks at it. Because remember, the goal first is that he needs to look at it. How can we expect him to step on it if he can't even mentally handle looking at it? So we're just going to ask him to focus a little bit. Let's get serious with it. And he goes, this is really hard. And we go, that's okay. But we're not going to break the rules. We're just going to ask for a little bit more. Good. That was good. Ask her again. And he goes, now wait, I gave you 2 steps. And it got hard again. Yeah, that's alright. See, I'm moving with him so that the pressure stays the same. So that it's not increasing, not triggering, not a tug of war. He's going to start to loosen his jaw a little bit, but not all the way. So what I'm thinking of now is when he gets that pressure on his pole, that he actually gets a nerve tingle in his face, which is what makes him do that. So he probably has, we know he has some physical damage back there from past experiences. And it gives him some nerve pain. Now one thing I'm going to do is move this to this side, because we've been pulling to his left side a lot. So I'm just going to switch sides so that we're not just pulling on one side. Now that's different. That may be worse. And he puts me back on the left because his more sensitive ear is his left ear. If I'm pulling to the left, the pressure's on his right ear, right? So he puts it back on the left because he'd rather have the pressure on his right ear than his left. So I'm just going to move it back over here. And he immediately puts it back on the walked forward pretty well. I'm gonna add this again. And I'm not pulling any harder. I do have the rope kind of behind my back, but that's just because my fingers are tired. I'm actually not adding any more weight than I was before. It's just so I can hold the rope differently because my fingers are so tired. Good boy. Release and ask him again. He avoids. If he pulls on it, that's one thing, but I'm not going to add it. Back. With him. Forward. Release. And again. Again, I'm not adding any more weight by putting it behind my back. I'm just giving my fingers a break. It's basically the same. Like, I can bounce it. It's not a lot of weight. Hold on it. Okay, I'm going to move with him. If he adds more weight, I'm not going to make it like, I'm not going to make it a tug of war, but I'm also not going to release him. Forward. Release. Go back. And put it back on. And again, it's not a lot. There's really not a lot of weight on there. He's kind of pulling, he's adding pressure on his own. I'm not releasing any, he's adding pressure. I'm staying right here. I'm going to give him a good break. So that was a lot. And what a lot of people want to do is when they freeze like that, they think, oh, he needs more pressure. No. That is his brain working through things and changing directions. So because he wasn't just in the avoidant behavior, kind of lollygagging, okay, I'm moving, okay, I'm moving, okay, I'm moving, give me the release. He stopped and he started thinking, okay, there's this pressure on my pole. I don't like it. What should I do about it? And if we had added pressure, or if we had changed things in any way, we would have interrupted that shift in his mind, the processing in his nervous system that was happening. And immediately after, he went back into a relaxed state. So you can see his lips are relaxed, his nose is relaxed, his ears are relaxed, and he's just sighed. And there's a difference in his looking around. It's more like what's around me and less I want to get out of here. I want to get away. So he's come back present. This is the only state that horses can learn in. Otherwise, they are just reacting. So what we want to do is help him. When you look at the cement, you can choose to be in this state, this learning state. And the way that we can do that is kind of push him into that darkness a little bit and have him go, okay, what can I do to make it go away? Because it's not happening anymore, right? There's no abuse happening here today. So what can I do to make it go away? And what he can do to make it go away is just relax into it. Just take a step forward and go, oh, actually it's not dark and scary up here. It's actually kind of nice. So what I'm going to do is take him for a little walk. We're going to leave, and then we're going to come back. Very middle. And this is him interacting with it. Is he touching it? No. Is he standing on it? No. But his mind is interacting with the obstacle. That's what he needs. He needs his mind to feel safe. So he starts to avoid, so we add a little pressure. He can increase it if he wants. We're going to stay right here. And when he comes forward, he gets a release. So he avoids. You add a little pressure. He comes forward. Good boy. And there, he touched it. There you go. Good boy. So now we've shifted his comfort zone, right? Before it was probably about the middle of the aisle. That's where when he would step forward, the blackness came in. Now we've kind of done this into that space, and we've pushed his comfort zone. He has, not me. All I've done is put a little pressure on this rope, and then he just does what he needs to do. And so he goes back to the original comfort zone, which is not very comfortable anymore. Step forward, that was 2 or 3 steps, and now he's mentally engaged with the obstacle again. I'm just going to step over here just because we're kind of getting off to the side of it. So I'm going to gently, good boy, right there. And as long as he is interacting, his mind is engaged, I'm not going to put any pressure on it. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm not going to ask for more. As long as he's interacting with the obstacle of his own choice, I'm not going to ask for more. So there he stepped back, but he was still looking at it. He thought about looking away and changed his mind. So I'll give him a little release. And there, he engaged with it again without me even asking him. And there he looks up. Again, he's looking over here. He's interacting with the wall over here. He's not just looking at the ground. He's taking the time to look at the obstacle instead of just anticipating what he thinks is going to happen. Now he's got a pretty pleasant look on his face. So I'm going to ask very gently, very soft, come forward. Good. And he pushed his comfort zone, and then he needed to come back, and that's okay. We're not going to punish him for that. Now, the one thing we notice is that he backed up, but he didn't disengage. If he had disengaged and walked off, we'd add pressure. But because he was engaged and just backed up, that's okay. His mind, because remember, the goal is we want him to look at it. We can't expect him to walk on it if he can't even look at it. And so as long as he looks at it and is engaged and is focused and present, we're going to leave him alone. That is a relaxing experience, right? So we're just going to add a little pressure. Very gentle, very soft. And again, this is pretty loose. I'm not adding very much pressure. If he adds pressure, that's a different thing. Like, he can add as much pressure as he wants. I'm just going to maintain. He didn't even step back that time. Boy. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more. There. That was good. I mean, that was maybe 2 pounds of pressure. Move back this way so you can see. So there he steps back, so you add pressure. So okay, he increases it on his own. He said, this sucks, I gotta be up here. Good boy. He licks his lips. He's looking at it. His ears are forward, his eyes are forward, he's engaged up here in the area where I want him. He has to be there mentally before we can expect him to be there physically. So as long as he's even acknowledging that it exists, right, not avoiding it, we're going to leave him alone. We're going to let him build an experience that he wants. And the experience he wants is calm, it's relaxed, it's happy. And again, this is the only state that horses can learn in, is when they're in their frontal lobe, they're engaged, they're present, they're listening, they're here. They're not trying to be somewhere else, they're not trying to avoid, they're not trying to attack, they're not trying to run, they're not trying to hide. They can't learn in that state. This is the only state that horses can learn in. Same for people as well. He's looking this way. He's kind of watching me. He's like, what is she going to do? If I just stay here. And there, I felt it. I felt his aura come forward. So horses scan with their electromagnetic field, right? And so he just allowed his electromagnetic field to come forward to start feeling the vibrations of this space. Right now he's reading my field to see if I'm in any kind of danger being up here. He's checking my experience. He's reading my heart rate. He's reading my breath rate, my blood pressure. Because he can see I'm standing up here, but is she in danger? Is she being hurt? Is she in any pain? I'm in a little bit of pain because I broke my ankle. And this is probably the most I've done with it since I broke my ankle, but my heart rate's down. My breathing is down. My brain waves, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty chill here, right? So we cannot expect him to put his body here if his mind and his spirit are somewhere else. So we need to get his mind and his spirit here first, and then his body will just naturally follow. So again, this goes back to the heart space stuff that came up last time, where he felt like he had to guard and protect himself. That's what this is. He has to suck his aura back because he's trying to protect himself and stay away from dangerous things. If we can help him to relax and allow that aura back forward instead of sucking back, and just allowing it to expand forward, his body will naturally follow where his aura and his heart go. So there, he kind of thought about avoiding and changed his mind. He kind of went to walk away, and then he came back to it. Huh. Yeah. And he's looking up here. Again, He has to look at it before he can step on it. He's looking at it. Be a boy, that's okay. The pressure comes on. Moving, good. And there he's looking at it. This is the part you don't want to interrupt. A lot of people see this and they go, oh, he's ready. No, this is the changing. This is the healing. This is the nervous system shifting from one place to another. Do not interrupt this. Don't ask for more. Leave it right there. Because the moment that you see, this is him being vulnerable. This is him allowing his mind, his aura, his eyes forward. If you feel that vulnerability, and then pounce on him, that's what creates the situation that he's in to begin with. He's trying to suck back, he's trying to hide, because being vulnerable is dangerous. What we need to do is teach him, if you come in here and be vulnerable and stretch out and feel and be with me, I'm going to respect you and take care of you. And in some cases, that means I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to be happy with what you offer. Now, I'm not going to set the expectation, but I feel in my gut that we can get his front feet on here today. If that doesn't happen, that's okay, but in my gut, I feel that we could maybe get there. So there he goes into the avoidance, and I didn't add that pressure, right? I just stayed where I was. He added the pressure himself. There he avoids. And I'm going to add a very light pressure. There's really not a lot of pressure on that rope. And there he goes forward. And remember, I got to stick by my rules, right? If he comes forward, if he interacts with it, pressure's off. I can re-engage the pressure, but every time. I can't break the rules or I break the trust. So now he's looking at my wagon, right? He's allowing himself to not only look forward, he's looking out, right? His vision's opening back up. He goes, okay, I didn't notice that before because I was too in my head. And now that I'm bringing my aura forward and I'm allowing myself to be here, now I notice the wagon. So he's looking at the wagon, but he's not afraid of it, he's just looking at it. So now we're just going to ask very gently. And I'm going to kind of give him an example. I'm going to move my feet. And there's no way I can expect him to do something I'm unwilling to do, right? So instead of adding more pressure, I'm going to do what I want him to do, which is move his feet, right? So I'm going to move my feet. And there's a little bit of playfulness. There's a little wad of horsehair on the ground, and he's flipping it with his nose. So that's actually true curiosity. That's the frontal lobe, frontal brain. It's investigative. He's asking questions. It's not just reactive. So now he's avoiding a little bit, feeling a bit of that anxiety, but he's learned, how do I make that anxiety go away? I step into it. I step forward. So this is Gus. This is about 2 weeks later. I personally have not worked with him on this. I don't know who's worked with him in between, probably his owner or his trainer. Yeah, but we've only been here for, I set a timer, we've been here for about 5 minutes. And this is way better than last time when we were here for 4 hours to get to this point. Good boy. Good boy. And you can leave. Good boy. We're going to let him leave. I mean, not like leave leave the barn, but let him go back to his safe space. Good boy. Now I'm gonna ask one more time, just because we haven't been here very long. And this isn't to get him back on. This is just to check his reaction now that he has been on. I'm just gonna see if maybe he'll just walk right up here now. So a little hesitance there. No pulling on the rope unless he deliberately goes away. Good boy, Gutsy. Good boy. Good job. Took you like 5 minutes, huh? That's a good boy. Good boy. Oh, what a good lad. And he says, did I do the right thing? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good boy. Yeah. Oop. Ooh, drop my rope. Good boy. All right, we're gonna call that good. I set my timer for 30 minutes. We were only gonna spend 30 minutes on it and then go do his body work, but that was great, so we're just gonna end it right there. And I was gonna try and do his body work up here, but I think we'll just call it good and go do it in his stall where he's happy. He says, bye y'all. You can't go without me. You gotta stay here with me. Good boy. So he still has some resistance, as you can see. Like, he still wants to leave. He still wants to go away. He doesn't want to look at it. But that was huge progress, you know. Went from 4 hours to about 5 minutes. And that's 2 weeks apart that I've worked with him. You know, I don't know what's happened in between, but good job, buddy boy. Good boy. Yes, and then he comes over here of his own accord. I didn't even pull on him. All right, let's go back in your stall. We'll get your body work done. Okay? Yeah, good boy.